Welcome. Welcome to the Friday Morning Buzz edition of, audio edition of The Thoughtful Anarchist. My name is Mike G, and we have so many topics to talk about today. Wow, this has been a full week, and I've just kind of let it all simmer. You know, I think that's what I do as a process. If you think about, or as I go through my week and I look at things that are going on in the world and stuff I'm exposed to and influenced by, I just let that simmer until Friday morning, and then I get up and I let it simmer a little more, and then I'll typically put on a video and find myself going, nah, that don't fit, nah, that don't fit, and then I find one that just absolutely fits. And it was Isaac Asimov being interviewed some 35 years ago, talking about globalism and the world today. And so this really has been on my mind, divisiveness amongst human beings. This is a topic that I could go on for and on and to absurdum. But let's just start with the easy stuff. And let me ask the question so that we have some sort of a format to go on. And the question is this: what divides you from other humans? What are those things in your belief system, in your belief system, that cuts you off from relating to another human being? Okay? And what's divisive about your own beliefs? And I can say that to myself. What is divisive about my own beliefs? Okay? But let's just go with what we know is divisive. And then we start to, then we'll have a look at, well, where did that come from? Right? So the first one is easy, right? Racism. Racism divides us. Racism is prevalent everywhere. It was prevalent. It's black on white. It's white on black. It's, you know, it's brown on, it's white on Asian. It's black on Asian. Look, racism is prevalent, and it's one of those things that divide us. And where did it come from? Really, where did racism come from? These are great questions. I'm not going to give you the answers to these. I'm going to ask the questions. Where did racism come from? In light of the fact that we now know that we all come from Africa, we evolved through that continent, okay? And it appears and it occurs that we migrated, obviously, to all other continents over some period of time. And some people have a problem with that, but you have to understand, many, many, many thousands of years ago, the world was a different place. We had just come out of the Earth had just come out of one of many, I'm sure, ice ages. We don't know how many, but we know about the last one, 12, 13, 15,000 years ago. But as life it's not emerging then, it's emerging much, much earlier, but human beings, right, on the earth are aware of this particular change in climate. And we survived that ice age somehow, majestically, magically, somehow we all survived it. Every color, race, creed, whatever you want to call us, the human race survived together those many, many years of frozen tundra and very little life available, life-sustaining resources available. All right, got it? Think about that, and now somehow we have inequality in value of human beings based on color, based on creed, based on all kinds of bullshit. Well, and here's the other one. Religions divide. They're divisive. Let me step back into that last comment I was making, because I want to finish the thought. We all survived, right? But somehow we have placed a higher value on certain skin tones than on others, and have done wickedly cruel and evil things to each other as human beings. Clearly, crimes against humanity. Clearly, we've enslaved each other. We've brutalized each other. We've experimented on each other. We've denied access to resources from each other. That's what racism does. That's the divisionary, that's what divisiveness does on race. Well, let's talk about creed. You know, let's talk about creed now. What religion are you? And how do you know that it's the right religion? I mean, because mom and dad said so? Well, if you were living in a Muslim country, mom and dad would say so, and you'd be Muslim. It's just that simple. So then how can you be so, how can a person, not you, I'll just say, how can a person be so adamant about their religious beliefs without even thinking that one thought? With not even being skeptical enough to question that one idea. That, oh, if I wasn't born in America and raised by parents who were most likely, based on the statistics, a Christian of some sort, would I actually be Christian? Or if I was raised in another country with another set of parents who had been raised Muslim all their life, would I not be a follower of Islam? Of course you would. I mean, let's not pretend here. Isn't it interesting that all religions are regionally based? Huh? Because if it's just one God, it's not. It's many gods, and it's made by many different people groups, these gods. So, look, and I'm not going to give all the evidences for why I reject the idea of a God anymore, because most of my life I didn't. But I want to say this. How do you know your religion is the right one? And why are you allowing that to be so fucking divisive? Here's what's interesting. There's a lot of preaching going on about love and peace and, you know, holiness and all this other stuff, and sin, right? These ideas, love, peace, holiness, and sin, right? All ideas made up by men. All of them. Not just sin and holiness, but love and peace and war and hate and racism. All of those made up by men. Mankind needs to be responsible for its own insanity. And this is just one of them. Okay. What's another divide? Divisiveness is everywhere. Well, what city are you from? What state are you from? What country are you from? Who's your favorite football team? That's divisiveness. Oh my God, if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, watch out Washington Redskins. You know, right? Or Philadelphia Eagles for that matter. Because yeah, those teams and their fans have been at odds vying for the Super Bowl ring, or for the Super Bowl ring, to have the NFL championship ring. And those teams have battled gloriously against each other for years. Well, guess what? It's divisiveness. Where does that divisiveness come from? There's this thing called morality. Right? And we attach morality to our belief systems as if it's true. Like, a Washington Redskin is more moral than, a Dallas Cowboy fan. You feel? Maybe you don't. Let me explain it this way. A born-again, non-denominational Christian is more moral than a doctrinally cataclysmized and baptized and confirmed Catholic who both believe, supposedly, in the same God. Or vice versa, that one. It's the Catholic who's more moral because his church stands for something and there's a single figurehead of blah, blah, blah. Look, how do we attach our morals to our belief systems when those belief systems consistently divide humanity. Consistently. There needs to be a new humanity. By the way, I just heard that Peter Joseph, he's the leader of the Zeitgeist movement. I don't know if you've watched the Zeitgeist movies. There's 3 of them, and you can find them all on Netflix. Zeitgeist, Zeitgeist Addendum, and then Zeitgeist Beyond or something like that. I don't remember the last one. But he's developed a worldwide movement that explains a new way of society, and the Venus Project is part and parcel of that as well. So, and to be fair, the Venus Project struggled for many years to get any kind of notoriety or really to be known at any real level until Peter Joseph came along and basically made him well known overnight with his Zeitgeist movie. It was incredible, and it was the first time I'd ever seen something like that. So I recommend you go see that. So let's get back to the divisiveness, okay? By the way, the point of all that was to give you some place to go to get some new data in case you've not heard of Zeitgeist. Also, the Venus Project has a video out there. It's called "The Choice Is Ours." You can find that on YouTube. It's not on Netflix, but it is on YouTube, and I highly recommend you go and check that out. Jacques Fresco passed away in May of this year, 2017, and I want you to know he may have been one of the most brilliant minds of our time, in my opinion, quite possibly. Okay, some more data, some more information, data points that you can go pull some of this information for. All right, so let's get back to my original comments, which was divisiveness. And it just seems to me that, you know, we can see divisiveness everywhere. Your political party, your religion, your gender, male or female. Oh, it's us against them, guys, right? Because, you know, women are bitches and men are pricks, and, you know, it's divisiveness, okay? It's what separates you from other human beings. It's a belief system that separates you. There's nothing else there. It's not real, you know? So your political system, your ideology, are you a conservative or are you a liberal? Your divisions happen in your head. That which separates you, for instance, your religion might say that, you know, homosexuality is wrong. Well, who said? Who said that heterosexuality is right and homosexuality is wrong when sexuality is genderless? And let me explain that. Allow me to give you a definition. Sex is the process of stimulating the genitalia. That's all it is. Now, what makes it morally right or wrong comes from a belief system. Morally right or wrong doesn't come from the clinical definition of what sex is. It comes from your moral beliefs. That's it. And it also divides you. So, hey, let's be divided over sex. What kind of sex? Do girls have sex with girls? Do boys have sex with boys? Right? Do boys have sex with girls? And which one of those is right? And once you put a moral thing on it, now you've got a divisive idea. And I'm not saying that morality doesn't exist. That's not the point. Morality obviously does exist. Or at least human beings, as a human species, we look to morality to maintain solidarity between each other. Okay, and that's really what that's for. So we don't infringe on other human beings' rights. So that's important. Let me finally get to the point of all of this. As I'm listening to Isaac Asimov, famous writer, fiction writer, science fiction writer. The man is brilliant, okay? Passed away some years ago. But one of the things that he said, our problems are not divisive problems. In other words, our problems are not nation-state problems. They're not religion problems. The problems of the planet, the real problems of the planet, are global problems. We all suffer when pollution, or when we pollute our skies. So the pollution that we do in America affects the rest of the world, and the rest of the world's pollution affects America because we're a global system. We look at ourselves as though we have these integrated systems, but they're siloed off, right? So we have the United States and Europe and Asia, and those systems, all these systems, so we say or we think are integrated but separate, and that's not true. When you look at the Earth as a natural system, you cannot put borders on anything. That's just madness. Because we all suffer from pollution. We all suffer from war. We all suffer from famine. We all suffer. And the planet has suffered enough. Suffered enough under this divisiveness. Suffered enough under the ideals that have been passed down from generation to generation to generation. Which generation is it going to be that stands up and says, enough is enough? We are one people. We are one planet. And we've got to stop acting like complete animals, which we are. We're animals, but we're also evolved animals. We have to evolve beyond this place called political corruption. In fact, I don't think politicians know how to solve our problems. I'm not encouraged at all, not by one little bit, when President Trump and his cabinet and the Republicans put out a budget that reduces Medicaid benefits, that defunds Planned Parenthood, removes all of these things from the budget, but then gives all of these tax cuts to large corporations, people making $500,000 a year or more, those who have trust funds, and those who play in the stock market. All of those four that I just mentioned would likely be a rich person, especially the $500,000 a year and more. That dude's getting a tax break. And you making $47,000 or $60,000 or $75,000 are going to bear the brunt of that. Not to mention the fact that you're about to lose all your health care, or at least health care that matters. Because the health care that's being put out by the Trump administration, and I'm not divisive against Republicans or Democrats. I hate them all. I think it's a big joke, okay? Because you have two parties run by one conglomerate, and you can't tell me that things have really changed that much over the last four administrations. The tone has been pretty much the same if you go back through history. War after war after war after war. Based on lie after lie after lie after lie. Are you going to wake up to that fact? And are you going to wake up to the fact that it's not about the Democrats, and it's not about the Republicans, it's not about the conservatives, and it's not about the liberals. It's about the fucking banking elite, it's about the global elite, and it's about those who are in power, who have all the money and are doing nothing but just, they keep raking it in. Look, we're about to face World War III. And it's not a let me just posit it this way. It's not a war between nations. It's a war between nature and humanity. And there will be a collateral damage. Many animals and species of animals will die. Because as we continue this war against our own planet, by polluting it, by extracting resources from it that are not necessary. We don't need oil. We don't need oil. We don't need gas. We just don't. Okay? There are better ways to move us around this planet. At the very most, we need very little of it for air transport. And I'm sure someone can come up with a better system than that type of fuel for flying around the planet. I'm sure we as a human mind, if we collaborated, we would find a solution for that too. There's already solutions for extending life, radically extending life. There's already a solution for that. There are several solutions, but there are doctors currently working on the problem of death. That's a worthy cause. But then you're going to have divisiveness there too. There are people that are going to say, fuck that, I don't want to live that long. Shit, I don't want to live 500 years. Not in this system, you don't. Not in the current divisive system, you don't. Let me just ask you the question. Who wants divisiveness? Answer this question. Who really wins from the divisiveness of humanity? Who really wins? Is it man? I mean, is it really? Or is it a handful of men who win? This is just simple ideation. Think about it. Who wins from the divisiveness of our planet, from the divisiveness of human beings? Who wins? And why is it so prevalent? And why is it so common? And why is it a culture? And how did it develop? And more importantly, how do we fucking emancipate ourselves from this nonsense? How do we emancipate ourselves and actually come together as a human collective? We the people. How do we do that? I suggest that we begin to think for ourselves. Turn off your fucking TV, pick up a book, join the Planetary Society, get involved somehow. And at some point, we need to abolish politicians and politics altogether. At some point, we're gonna evolve past currency. It's just there's already rumblings in the works. And what scares people is that, well, what do we do if there's no money? Why do we need money? All we really need is access to resources. And that's what money gives you. But why do we really need money? It's more expensive to force people to go. Okay. That's going in a different direction. Total tangent about to happen right now. I'm going to put the brakes on. Because for this particular conversation that I'm having, this dialogue with self, and with you, obviously, the thoughtful anarchists, I want you to really begin to close in on this one idea. Why is there division in the world? What's moral about it, and who wins? Please leave comments. I would love to see them. I'm excited to hear from you guys, and very soon my first video will be going up. I'm looking forward to that. Make sure you check out The Thoughtful Anarchist on Facebook. I also have a private group. If you become a patron of my Patreon page, I'll gladly add you to the conversation in that secret group. But really, thank you for your support, and I will be talking to you again next Friday. Hopefully it's not 111 degrees out like it is today in Phoenix. All right, with much love and thoughtfulness, I'm Mike G, the Thoughtful Anarchist. I'm out.